Hello, I'm Dick Hill, Vice President, ARC Advisory Group. I'm here today with Brooke Roberton of Momentive Specialty Chemical. She's the DCS Project Manager at Deer Park, Texas. Welcome, Brooke.
Thanks, Dick.
I'd like to begin by asking you, with all the changes that are going on in the industry today with regard to personnel, staff, how has this been affecting Momentive Specialty Chemical?
Well, we've realized that there are some changing needs going on. We realize that we have between operators and engineers and maintenance personnel that about 17% of our workforce will be eligible for retirement in the next 5 years. So we've had to think about this and put together some modernization strategies to enhance our technology and along the way make sure that we are capturing some of those personnel's knowledge so we don't lose it as we're moving forward with our business as they do decide to retire.
Well, that's an incredible change. So is this just a North American phenomenon, or are you experiencing this other places in your company?
No, not at all. This actually is a worldwide issue, and we have our global modernization program actually addresses North America, addresses Europe, it addresses Asian countries, and even Brazil and South American areas as well. So it is a worldwide problem.
So where are you in the process today, would you say?
At this point, we have gone through the process of selecting our vendor for our modernization program, what vendors we're going to use to actually implement it. We've gone through the process of selling this up to the board and funding it, and have even completed front-end loading on several projects. We're in the detailed engineering phase in some of them. We've completed some. We're probably about 15% of the way along. And why this is important, our modernization strategy is kind of how we're going to address this in terms of having an operator on the project, a senior operator, and then we can incorporate his knowledge through updating our HMIs and graphics, through alarm rationalization and documenting with his expert knowledge how to correct an abnormal situation, get yourself back to steady state as soon as possible. And as well, we'll be including senior engineers that are close to retirement as well, because again, their knowledge, unless you go through some kind of major process like this, it is difficult to transfer that knowledge. So leverage using a modernization and alarm management to capture that knowledge before it's lost.
So it seems like technology is an important part of this. And you mentioned modernization and alarm management. Are there other technologies, or is alarm management a key thing? Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Well, alarm management is so important because, well, one, it is becoming more and more almost like a safety requirement, and it is a very strong push in our corporation in general because of abnormal awareness situations that preventative, structures for safety. And what's important about alarm management is that you go through the process of identifying what alarms are real alarms. And if it does not take an action to resolve the alarm, well, then it should never have been an alarm in the first place. So what it does is it cleans up a lot of nuisances which are distracting your operators from controlling. And at the same time, when you're putting together your alarm rationalization, you put in there, how do you actually correct the situation? So you're leveraging that senior operator's knowledge on how to correct the abnormal situation, so then when everyone else, even the new operators or some say 15-year operators, everyone then is correcting the process the same way. So it is a learning curve tool. And at the same time, simulators are also a very good use of technology to, one, train your new operators, and two, to keep your current operators certified in the process, and then three, to reinforce that we want to operate the plant this way, not everyone kind of doing it their own way. We want to leverage the senior operator's knowledge and the best practices on our specific processes and make sure that everyone knows how to do that so we can run as consistently as possible so that we are producing to maximum yield as possible, utilizing minimum energy, utilizing minimum raw materials.
Well, that's terrific. It seems like there's a lot of companies out there that are faced with the same situation you have gone through. Is there any advice in terms of, you've been through this journey to this point, is there any advice you could give to people who haven't started it yet?
I would say two things. One would be to make sure to get your senior management involved as soon as possible, because in order to, retrain and go through these modernization programs, it does take a lot of people and a lot of support to make sure that it's going to move forward. And it's a lot of effort, So you need to go up to the levels outside of the plant to say, directors and vice presidents, to make sure that you've got their support and are getting their needs so you can work them in to the overall process while still capturing operations knowledge. And the second thing is, make sure you have those senior operators and senior engineers as core parts of your modernization and alarm rationalization process, because that's how you're going to get the knowledge out of them. And without them being a part of the team, you're not going to get the knowledge, and then you're also not going to get the buy-in from the people, the end users that need it, which are your operators. So it's very important to get them on board, get them engaged with it so they can cater it to what they need it to be for their day-to-day use, but that you can also capture their knowledge.
Well, very good advice. I'm sure everyone out there listening to this will appreciate it. So thank you very much, Brooke.
You're welcome.
We've been talking to Brooke Robertson, DCS Project Manager for Momentive Specialty Chemical, and thank you very much for viewing.